Hey everyone, welcome back with Bino Mac to another Aki comparison video. This time, we're going to compare the final Aki title, No Mercy, to what many consider a spiritual successor to the N64 titles, WWE Day of Reckoning, exclusive to the Nintendo GameCube. There were notable Aki devs who even worked on Day of Reckoning, so it'll be interesting to see how they stack up. Enough stalling, let's break it down. Starting off with WWF No Mercy, most of you know by now it was developed exclusively for the Nintendo 64 by the Aki Corporation, published by THQ, and released in North America November 17th in 2000 with sales reported to be 1.50 million. Then its opponent, Day of Reckoning, was made at a time when developer Yuke's was trying to establish big WWE gaming franchises on each of the 6th generation consoles, like how PlayStation 2 had the SmackDown, and at this time, SmackDown vs. Raw titles. Day of Reckoning was their final attempt on the Nintendo GameCube to establish a best-selling series. It was released in the US on August 30th, 2004, then in Europe on September 17th, 2004. Next year in January on the 13th, Japan would get a taste of this franchise as well. Overall, it sold 0.45 million copies. Let's see if this was the game both fans and Yuke's were hoping for. When you boot up No Mercy, you get one of the most well-remembered wrestling game intros. It's the strangest song I've heard, but it gets you hyped up while showcasing some of the highlights of early 2000, which primarily features the People's Champion and the McMahon family. WWE Day of Reckoning starts with a monologue about the world you're soon to enter, that's filled with betrayal and deception. Then we get gameplay footage of some devastating moves and high spots featuring the biggest stars at the time, such as John Cena, Triple H, Randy Orton, and some Divas and Bra and Panties action. Short but sweet. The menus on No Mercy are varied. The main menu shows off a backstage locker room. Menu options are split into 3 sections with free play, single play, and custom options. Starting a match shows this cool rocky backdrop with the WWF logo carved in the back. The SmackDown Mall features this cool blue wire frame background. Day of Reckoning opens with a standard menu fare at the time, blue smoke backdrop with different screenshots depending on the menu item highlighted. Character Select shows the faces of superstars above their attributes. Some of these faces are terrifying though. The Superstar Select for both titles seems to have the top stars you'd want to play as in the beginning, with Divas and Legends at the end. During loading screens in Day of Reckoning, we get hints on various aspects of the game. The music in No Mercy sticks in your head, for better or worse. Music starts out slow and basic until you start to access features. That's when the music bumps up seamlessly between menu options.
Exhibition.
Match music are tracks that usually start pretty slow and about mid-match turn up the heat as well. There's more of a hip-hop influence in No Mercy compared to other Aki titles. In Day of Reckoning, the menu music and match music are the same. They're good, energetic tracks from underground bands around that time period, like Zebrahead and Breaking Benjamin, who would become pretty big deals in the music scene. The game's anthem seems to be Anthrax and Public Enemy's 1991 Bring the Noise track.
Here we go again. Turn it up. Bring the noise. Turn it up. Bring the noise. Oh, just when you think that's not right, I'm calling out from the inside. I never hurt anyone. I never listened at all. Everything's falling apart. You can't control me. You can't control me. And everything's falling apart. You can't control me. You can't control me. Everything's falling apart. Now I can't see you. Doesn't matter what I do. Lead me to the end of your ride. Let me see from there.
Most, if not all, of these tracks were featured in Day of Reckoning's PS2 counterpart, SmackDown vs. Raw. WWF No Mercy features 10 arenas based off of late 1999 and early 2000 pay-per-view events and weekly shows. There's Monday Night Raw, No Mercy 1999, SmackDown, King of the Ring 2000, SummerSlam 1999, Survivor Series 1999, Royal Rumble 2000 in Madison Square Garden, WrestleMania 2000, Backlash 2000, and finally, Armageddon 1999. They are beautiful arenas for the Nintendo 64 and feature ringside steps and an interactable announcer's table. In addition to this, you can fight on each stage, which may have hidden weapons. There are 5 backstage areas, including the hallway, boiler room, locker room, parking lot, and sports lounge. WWE Day of Reckoning is devoid of backstage areas to fight in, but we have 12 unique venues, all with 2 sets of announce table ringside, but no steps. Unlike No Mercy, in Day of Reckoning you can explore the entire arena freely and dive off the stage. Available arenas are Raw, SmackDown, SummerSlam 2003, Unforgiven 2003, No Mercy 2003, Survivor Series 2003, Armageddon 2003, Royal Rumble 2004, No Way Out 2004, WrestleMania 20, where it all begins again, Sunday Night Heat, and a generic house show. Finally, for entrances, No Mercy only has half entrances. The music plays for the selected wrestler, then Titantron, and if they have a taunt, they will do so on the stage. After that though, we don't get a look into them stepping inside the ring. We do get pyro and lighting effects as well, at least. Tag entrances are also non-existent in No Mercy, despite managers coming down to the ring with superstars. On the Day of Reckoning side of things, we get full entrances that include lighting, pyro, themes, and accurate timing. Interestingly, Day of Reckoning has a very small amount of tag entrances like some for the Basham Brothers, but you can't create stables or anything to add more in. Moving on to the gameplay, No Mercy has the iconic Aki grappling system that many are still in love with today. You have weak moves and strong moves. Tap A for a weak move and hold A for a strong one. For example, tap B for a weak strike, hold B for a strong strike. You can press A and B together or press B and the D-pad together for alternative strikes. For grapples, you have weak and strong too. Once in a grapple, you can press A, B, or one of those buttons with up, down, or a side button on the D-pad, with each choice resulting in a different move. Depending on whether or not you initiate a weak or strong grapple also affects which move you perform and how easy it is to reverse. This is how the game works in pretty much every situation, including front and back attacks, running attacks, corner attacks, and more. When you successfully avoid, block, or reverse attacks while taunting and landing moves on your opponent, your attitude meter builds up until it reaches orange and starts to blink. Taunt in this state and you activate the special status, where you have about 30 seconds to perform as many finishers in about every position possible. If you get your butt whooped though, you'll eventually enter the danger status, and a massive move at low health can even send you into the losing it state, which essentially means game over. The Aki games are simple and fun, but are by far the most difficult wrestling games to master when it comes to timing. WWE Day of Reckoning takes a lot of this formula and applies it to its base gameplay, but with notable differences. It's a combination of Aki and the SmackDown series. You once again have light and heavy attacks. For light grapples, these act as ready moves. To do heavy grapples, you need to hold the A button down to initiate a grapple state and then tap it again with or without the D-pad for your choice of move. Strike combos have been added in this title, along with the ability to use strikes in the grappled state. Instead of strong grappling and flicking the analog stick for a finisher, this time you press A and B to access the special state. Then hold A and B again to use your special in literally every possible situation. It's crazy the amount of positions these games allow for finishers to take place in. Submissions have been made into a small button mashing main game, just like the SmackDown games. The length and time for the submission depends on how high your submission stat is. Day of Reckoning introduces pullback attacks that allow for strikes and grapples. Finally, Day of Reckoning has weapon grapples, which No Mercy lacks, although No Mercy does allow you to throw weapons instead. Day of Reckoning also has weapons wear down quickly, requiring you to have to replace them, unlike No Mercy, which allows you to use weapons to your heart's content. The main defining feature that separates Day of Reckoning from No Mercy is the separation of momentum and finisher progress. Just like these SmackDown titles, you have a finisher bar that fills up as you reverse and pull off attacks. It doesn't go down. You can also store up to 3 finishers at a time and activate at your choosing. The momentum bar, however, determines a few things. The higher it is, the faster your finisher meter fills. It makes moves easier to reverse and you do more damage as well. If you have full momentum in the red, you'll practically be able to get as many finishers as you want as long as you keep the offense going. Momentum is really the key aspect of these matches. If you are in the danger state, you can even pull off a momentum shift, which is a once per match move that will immediately swap momentum between you and your opponent. But obviously, they can do this too. Day of Reckoning is a wild and chaotic title that separates itself from the Aki and SmackDown titles by incorporating many features from both while playing by its own rules. The match speed is much faster than the N64 games that try to replicate real match pacing. You can even interrupt any move, including finishers, in the multi-man matches. Wrestlers can be hit in the crossfire of these moves as well, including your own allies. After matches in free play, you can stick around and continue the beatdown on your opponent. Day of Reckoning is by far one of the wildest WWE games I've played personally. No Mercy has a plethora of match options. We have exhibition with the basics such as singles, tag team, triple threat, 2-on-1 handicap, and steel cage. Also available are ladder, special guest referee, and Iron Man that all feature variations of the exhibition matches. You can use match modifiers too, so you can fully customize most of these match types and even create extra hidden ones, like submission, falls count anywhere hardcore, tornado tag, first blood, ultimate submission, 4-way elimination, and more. Day of Reckoning takes this premise and practically doubles it. You start out by choosing from singles, tag team, triple threat, fatal 4-way, and handicap. Then select a match type that changes depending on the match style selected. Most match types allow for normal, hardcore, ladder, tables, TLC, steel cage, and Hell in a Cell. Bra and panties and Iron Man matches are only available in singles options though. Just like No Mercy, you can adjust the rules as much as you want for the most part, but there is less freedom in special match types. First Blood, Tornado Tag, and Submission are once again hidden match types that are available with the rules setup. Finally, both titles have Royal Rumble but function differently. In No Mercy, Royal Rumble has 3 variants. There's Random, Select, and Team Battle. You can have 4 to 40 entrants. In Team Battle, you set how many fellas are on each team. Then the last team standing wins. 4 superstars start the match, and you can have some variety by mixing and matching rules such as pin, submission, TKO, and ring out. In Day of Reckoning, the match is more restrictive but accurate. You can select 10, 20, or 30 entrants, and the match starts off with the normal 1 and 2 superstars. You're allowed to set the order in any way you'd like, but for this game, the only objective is throwing out each until you're the last man standing in the ring. The rosters are 4 years apart, but some of the major stars are in both. Superstars featured in both games are Triple H, The Rock, Undertaker, Chris Jericho, Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, Kane, Edge, Christian, Matt Hardy, Hardcore Holly, Val Venus, Trish Stratus, and Andre the Giant. No Mercy has some of the most memorable superstars of the Attitude Era, like Stone Cold Steve Austin, Jeff Hardy, Mankind, The Dudleys, Too Cool, Ken Shamrock, the APA, Tazz, Dean Malenko, Godfather, Crash Holly, D'Lo Brown, and Mark Henry, just to name a few. Day of Reckoning was released around the halfway point of the Ruthless Aggression era when rising stars became legends. Notable superstars include John Cena, Randy Orton, Ric Flair, Batista, Big Show, Booker T, RVD, Rey Mysterio, Shelton Benjamin, Chavo Guerrero, and some legends like Roddy Piper, Greg the Hammer Valentine, and the return of Bret Hitman Hart. Both rosters have good arguments about which is superior, but I'll leave that up to you in the comments. Most of you know by now that WWF No Mercy has Championship Mode. You choose from one of the 7 titles available in the company at the time. Then you do storylines to eventually either win or retain the title by the end. The difficulty in stories depend on which title is chosen. The WWF belt primarily features retellings of famous feuds for the belt in 2000 and 1999. The hardcore belt primarily revolves around the 24/7 rule established at the beginning of 2000. Paths range from 5 to 10 chapters, and each belt has branching options. The story can change depending on certain factors, but most matches change based on whether or not you win or lose. Once you complete a path, you can keep playing until you find all paths in a belt and gain 100% completion. There really isn't a reward, but it's certainly one of the most difficult challenges you can complete in a wrestling game, so I guess there's bragging rights. Day of Reckoning offers a story mode. It's a full calendar year that, like a lot of WWE games around this time, starts directly after WrestleMania. You create a superstar and start out in developmental, working house shows with random jobbers. Then you get promoted to Sunday Night Heat after completing certain tasks in each match for Jonathan Coachman. After impressing the coach, you get to choose which show you'd like to join, Raw or SmackDown. Unfortunately, the brand doesn't really change the story too much, but instead changes the wrestlers in the story. For SmackDown, you join the Undertaker's new Ministry of Darkness. On Raw, you join Evolution. You work your way up with these teams until eventually you get a World Championship match at WrestleMania 20. I don't want to spoil too much since the story is pretty in-depth with unique cutscenes every week. It's honestly, in my opinion, one of the best games to play if you want to experience what it's like to be involved in ongoing storylines every week on WWE television while peeling back the curtain just a little during a time when that wasn't commonplace like it is in today's WWE stories. Since you play as a created wrestler, you earn attribute points and money to buy moves and upgrade your character, which you definitely need. So there's a great feeling of progression throughout. Both of these games feature a great deal of challenge too, so if that's what you're into, these are both excellent picks. These games have pretty good create modes. In No Mercy you can create up to 18 superstars. You name them, set height and weight, pick music and trons, edit 4 unique costumes, craft in-depth movesets for every situation, set up their fighting styles, parameters, and finally, their manager and rivals. You can also change the appearances of in-game superstars. If you want to have a base for any of those features I mentioned, you can clone parts over to other wrestlers or create ones like moves and profiles. Even the ability to change where people are on the character select is up to you. Although you can't set the roster spots, Day of Reckoning does also feature a create a wrestler mode. You can create 16 wrestlers. You start by selecting a template, then you name them, set their fighting strategy to either clean or dirty. There's brand, AI logic, and photo. You start with a preset amount of attribute points for stats, pick their moves, detailed appearance, and finally, the entrances. You can't edit what in-game superstars look like or change their names like in No Mercy, but Day of Reckoning does let you change every wrestler's fighting style and movesets freely. Finally, in No Mercy, you can create a single pay-per-view at a time with 1 to 15 matches. You select the arena, name the event in town, and then set up to any matches you want, including ones for titles. Both games, of course, have some extra modes available to play. First off, in No Mercy, you have Survival, which is a 100-man gauntlet battle royal. The object is to eliminate as many as you can by either pin, TKO, submission, or ring out. You gain SmackDown dollars for everyone you personally eliminate. If a hidden wrestler you haven't unlocked yet comes out, you can defeat them personally to unlock them for free play. If you eliminate all 100 wrestlers yourself, you get a $1 million bonus, but it's practically impossible. Day of Reckoning has a tutorial mode. Not the most exciting, but it does teach you everything you need to know about the game in a fairly timely fashion. Finally, both games have a shop. No Mercy features the SmackDown Mall. Inside is a large amount of cosmetics, moves, wrestlers, weapons, and stages. It's not fairly priced if I'm being honest, but it was an amazing feature for the time. There's clothing options from past games or gimmicks of wrestlers from years past. Some of the most powerful moves are in the shop along with some WCW legend finishers. Some wacky weapons like The Rock and Austin Foam Fingers, the Sledgehammer, The Rock Says book, a giant Steve Weiser can, and the infamous hose that belonged to the Godfather. The only way to reach that $500,000 price tag is to either grind the game for like a week straight or win that $1 million bonus. Either way, it's not really worth it. WWE Day of Reckoning has the Shop Zone. It's pretty much the same. You can buy clothes, moves from unused wrestlers, arenas, and weapons. It will take a few playthroughs of story mode, but you can buy most necessities at a fair price. Both games offer a fair amount of depth, replayability, engaging gameplay, and showcases the best that the WWE had to offer at the time with amazing story modes. You guys let me know, which game was your favorite and why? Thanks for watching though. If you enjoyed this video, why not like it as well as subscribe to me, Bean O'Mac. You can ring the bell to be notified of more Aki comparisons, ROM hack reviews, personal rankings, evolution of the Aki series, and more one-off videos on Aki Sunday. Watch me play Aki games every Saturday as well. And if that isn't enough, check out my non-Aki wrestling playthroughs every Wrestling Wednesday. If you want to see more of WWE Day of Reckoning, check out the playlist in the description below, where you can also find my Bean O'Mac's Let's Play channel for non-wrestling playthroughs. Above all else though, please remember to have a nice day.